It's noon here in downtown Bethesda, Maryland on Monday, January 9th. And this is news. Got to turn it on. Okay, so apparently it's a little afternoon here in beautiful downtown Bethesda, Maryland for Monday, January 9th. And this is news that you can use from YAA with your hosts, Zach and Ray.
How you doing, Pops?
I'm doing good, cashmere sweater boy.
Yeah, I found this in a bag, and man, is it nice. I don't know. I'm just happy I found it. All right, here's the deal, Dad.
Yeah.
Car dealers are going into that haunted house right behind us, and that's because...
I can't wait to find out why. I wouldn't want you to ever share with me what the hell we're going to talk about.
And that's because...
Yeah.
End-of-year car sales are not as good as we thought they were going to be. And more importantly, let me find it on the page here. I got to find it on the page.
I'm getting nauseous.
Here, I'll share the page with everyone as we find it on the page. And I got the wrong one. Window capture. We're doing a design sprint. Boom. There we go.
Yeah.
Where is it, Dad? Inventory levels. Let me search for TrueCar. Just bear with me. There it is, Dad.
Yeah.
Car dealers are going into that haunted house because...
Yes. Because why?
Where was it?
I don't know.
Come on, it was on here. I know it was on here.
Okay.
Wait a second. Wait, folks. Wait for it. We prepped for today.
Maybe we should start trying that.
Where was it? They had that
maybe it was in a different article.
No, it's in this article. They had somewhere in this article. I can't find it now, obviously. Inventory levels that year over year are up 63%. New car inventory levels are up 63%, and that is why car dealers are in trouble.
Boy, that was a wasted 2 minutes to get to that. Jeez.
But it's still a good point.
Yeah. Okay. So what you're saying is that inventory is increasing.
Inventory is increasing. Yes.
And that if we were to look closely at auto sales for the month of December, sales were disappointing.
Sales were very disappointing. I think a lot of automakers expected that they were going to do better than they actually did.
Absolutely.
I mean, Ford, for example, General Motors, et cetera. And then
How about Stellantis?
Yeah, actually, all right. Why don't we look there? We'll start there.
Why don't we start there?
All right. You can run us through the numbers, Pops. We've got year over year and fourth quarter sales numbers, and you can see pretty much everyone was down year over year, and especially for that fourth quarter. Let's come down.
You know what the good news is? Scroll back up for a second. Rolls Royce was up 6.8%.
Yeah, we know that those affluent buyers are certainly buying vehicles. But for example, Dad, you mentioned Stellantis. Let's come down here and let's look at Stellantis. Sales for the quarter, year over year, down 15.5%, down 13%. For the entire year, and that's paired with the same exact time that we're seeing their inventories build back up.
Exactly, and you could see like Ram trucks were off 14.5% in the quarter, 15.8% for the year. Okay, so that inventory, that
Jeep
truck
sales
inventory,
down 17.7%.
It's all starting to build, at least at Stellantis, to a much greater degree than at your other manufacturers, and I don't know if they're scared, but I'm pretty sure they're getting ready to add sizable incentives to their vehicles with the hopes of being able to sell them a little more quickly moving forward.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely 100%. Where is that 63% hike in inventory? Inventory is definitely up from previous month, but it's nowhere near 63% hike as it's reported. It's year over year. So from December to December, TrueCar has us from 1.1 million to 1.8 million new cars that are out there. TrueCar's got the highest number that we've seen. We'll get the December data. Actually, let's check. Let me check live and see if the Cox data came out yet today. No, we do not have the updated the updated inventory data from Cox yet. We'll probably get it later this week. But we've seen new car inventories build back up, and that is a scary sign for dealers, especially when you pair it with interest rates going up as much as they have and consumer demand falling off significantly. I mean, you've got a recipe for that haunted house. You've got floor plan costs increasing. It's the same story we've been talking about all year long.
Yes, but we're finally starting to see that inventories are building up to some degree. I mean, we started the year with about 900,000 new units available monthly from most of your manufacturers. And by new units available monthly, that means cars on the ground, cars incoming, cars in transit that will make it to the dealers within that month. And we've seen that number go up to 1.664 million, I think it was, and
TrueCar's
TrueCar is
got it at
suggesting it's
1.8.
one. Yeah, my suspicion has been, and I've been saying this for a couple of years, that I think the new normal is going to be somewhere between 2 and 2.4 million vehicles that will be available on a monthly basis at dealerships. So that's a significant increase over where we had been. Now, if the market continues to contract, and what I mean by that is if we find fewer and fewer people actually in the market to buy cars, as this inventory is growing, then and also with higher interest rates making fewer vehicles affordable, I think we will see manufacturers come up with stronger incentives than they have had to use over the past 18 to 24 months. I don't know that they'll return quite to the levels that they were prior to the pandemic, but they'll certainly get closer to the levels, to the historic levels that we would normally expect to see.
Now, let's be clear. We've got this comment from Kevin here. Still low inventory on certain trims and options. Silverado with 6.2 liter MSRP are over, but 5.3 liter motor up to $5,000 off. You've been, we're going to continue to document the saga of helping my sister, your daughter, and her husband try and buy a vehicle. They were out doing test drives this past weekend, and you were trying to help them think through getting a Subaru Outback. They currently have a Subaru Outback they're thinking about. You told me this morning that
there are no base or premium model Outbacks being built at the moment.
And so when we talk about inventory building back up, there's two interesting storylines. We talked about a bit on Saturday night, but we've seen fleet sales to rental car companies in December increase 100% year over year.
Yes.
And fleet sales in general year over year for December go up. The reason I bring up fleet is because those are base vehicles. Most of the vehicles going into fleet are more base trim. And then on the inventory data for retail sale, we have seen inventories increase as well. But that is not necessarily fleet. It's not base level trims. It's the more expensive vehicles at higher price points for these OEMs.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, I believe, and the reason that my daughter's looking for a car is, well, she's driving a 12-year-old Subaru Outback with 130,000 miles on it that has some catalytic converter issues. So they need to get a new car. They're one of the ones that are in the need for a car. And so, they weren't 100% sure what they wanted. So they started looking at vehicles. They drove the Outback and they liked it. And then they were told, well, there are no base or premium models, and they would want a premium model. There are no base or premium models being built at the present time. So you'd have to reserve an incoming vehicle if there will be an incoming premium. And then they looked at the Mazda CX-5, smaller vehicle. They liked it almost as much. And those, for the model that they want, which is the S with the Select package, there were actually 19 in dealer inventory through the dealers that they would consider doing business with, and 19 in stock and 25 incoming in transit. And those were like $4,000 less, or almost $5,000 less than what was available in the Subaru Outback. So I think they're probably going to end up.
Yeah, but take Darren and Zach out of the picture. Just the theme is exactly what Kevin's saying. You're still going to find OEMs producing the higher trim levels, and those are the ones that are going to, for whatever reason, consumers are willing to spend more money. We do have an interesting question, and we're going to turn our attention to it.
And Subaru sales were up significantly in December. And obviously it was on the higher trim level vehicles. Because 100%. They're not really making the lower trim level vehicles.
100%. And I want to turn our attention to Jordan's question because it is pertinent. Is getting below MSRP for special orders a thing? And I think more than before it is. I mean, at the end of last year, Ford was offering $1,000 rebate on factory orders for different vehicles. So I think it depends a bit on what the vehicle is. And obviously You can oh, here we go from Laura. Ray, tell them to get the Outback and get the VIP program. We've tried, Laura. We're trying our best. Trying our best with this.
My daughter has reminded me as to why I retired.
Let's actually take a look at that. We got the latest inventory data from Automotive News as well as days supply. So every single month for select automakers, we can see how much inventory they have in the market and what the days supply is. Now, for those of you playing along at home, days supply is the number of days needed to sell all vehicles in inventory based on the previous month's daily selling rate. The reason this is important is because vehicles that have a higher days supply should be more negotiable, means that they're sitting around longer.
But I think one of the things you'll notice in the first thing I noticed in the first vehicle listed is that the amount of units available are the same as they were last month, but the day supply is greater because
it doesn't say the amount of inventory from last month. So no, you can't make. We could pull up last month to see exactly how many Mustangs there were, for example. It is only showing you the comparison year month over month, excuse me, for the days supply.
And because we're in January, the day supplies goes up naturally because it's a slow selling month, and so is February.
Well, but if you think about it, this should reflect December data, where we actually saw, hopefully, although the numbers aren't panning out to that, more sales. So, for example, if we look at Ford, let's go all the way down. Ford's days supply dropped by 3 units.
Yes.
But let's do this. Give me a second here. So they had 392,000 vehicles in inventory at the beginning of this month. Give me 1 second.
And by in inventory, that is either on the dealer lots or in transit to the dealers, and will be there before the end of this month.
Yes. And now let me pull up the inventory from last month. Give me 1 second here. And let's see. Yeah. I don't know if they had more than 392,000 or less than 392,000. We'll all find out together.
Yeah, I like that.
Once it loads.
If it loads.
It'll load.
It'll load.
All right, so here we go. This is last month's data.
Oh, yeah, it's significantly higher.
So Ford,
at least the Mustangs were.
Ford last month, Dad.
Yeah.
Had 367,000 vehicles in inventory with a 63 days supply.
And this month,
their inventory went up to 392,000 in a 60-day supply. That means
I'm not buying that their day supply went down with their inventory going up.
And at the same time, let's look back at the sales data. This is super interesting.
Yeah.
Let's find Ford on this list. And Ford's sales for the fourth quarter were down 4.8%.
So you explained to me how increasing your inventory is going to lessen your day supply when your sales are down year over year. Explain that to me. Explain that math, how that works. Explain it to me like I'm a kindergartner. Okay, how can that be?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It does not. I mean, I'm not trying to poke holes in anything.
Must be that new math.
It must be. It must be that metaverse math. Okay, I'm not trying to poke holes in some of the data we see, but you can't have your inventory go up almost 30,000 vehicles, 26,000 vehicles month over month. Have your sales declined by 4.8%
year over year
for the previous quarter. Okay. And then expect your day supply to go from 63 to 60, even though your inventory went up by 26,000 units. That math does not compute. And it especially does not compute when you're going into a month like January, because every year it's either January or February that will have the slowest or least volume of sales for dealers and manufacturers. It just is. It's history. You can't. I mean, you could go back 100 and some years. It's the history of the industry. It's the slowest time of the year for dealers. So if your inventory is increasing, your day supply is increasing. It is not decreasing.
The only justification for how it could decrease your day supply while your inventory goes up would be that the sales rate was so high that it drove day supply down. Now, that being said, you can't come out with numbers that say your fourth quarter sales were down and
from the year
and have that narrative. All right, let's keep looking through some of these automakers. This is interesting. All right, so let's look at let's do Acura next. 16,300 units in inventory right now, Dad, and a 42 days supply.
Okay, so
last month was a 41 days supply. Let's see, how much inventory did Acura have last month?
Total Acura was 13,000.
Wait a second. Did I look at the right? Okay, 16,000. Okay.
Yeah. So the inventory has actually gone up 3,000, and
And the
there's
days supply went up one.
day, which could begin to make sense.
Let's look at Honda next. So Honda right now has 101,000 vehicles in inventory, 29
Yes.
day supply. That's down a day.
Yes.
So let's look at Honda inventory from last month.
There you go.
95,300. So Honda inventory went up 6,000, but their days supply went down one. That's the same story as Ford. That
Doesn't make sense.
That must mean that the sales rate was so much higher. But then let's look. We're doing all this math together.
Yeah.
Let's look at Honda. Honda sales were down 11%.
11.1%. So I guess I am poking holes.
No, let's keep doing this. This is super interesting.
I mean, it just
doesn't compute.
Exactly. And
Hyundai Kia 66.
It doesn't take Einstein or even Eisenberg to be able to figure this out.
Hyundai Kia 66,600 vehicles in inventory, a 13 days supply currently.
Yeah.
Hyundai Kia 68,900. So their inventory is down about 2,000 units, and their day supply went down one. That pencils.
Yeah, that sort of makes sense.
Mazda has 24,000 vehicles in inventory, a 24 days supply. Mazda had 19,000. That pencils. That makes sense.
That makes sense.
Let's look at Subaru next. Subaru has 16,300 vehicles in inventory, an 8 days supply. Subaru had 17,000. That pencils. That makes sense. And let's look at Toyota here. Toyota has 119,600 vehicles in inventory and 18 days supply. So we would be expecting, since that's down from a 21-day supply, that their prior inventory levels would have been higher.
Yes.
So let's see. 19,600. There you go.
Yeah.
Their prior inventory levels were 143,800. The last on the list would be Volvo. Volvo previously had 12,100 vehicles in inventory. They currently have 11,000, excuse me. Okay, so some of that math makes sense.
Yes, but others don't.
Others, it's entirely a confusing situation.
I'm not confused.
I'm a little confused how they came out.
I'm not
with
confused
some of those
at
numbers.
all. It's some of it's just BS.
That's definitely part of it. Now we have another storyline that's important that ties into all this, Dad, which would be the semiconductor, the chip shortage. So we ended last year. With 4.4 million vehicles taken out of production due to the chip shortage.
Yes.
That was down from 10.5 million the prior year. You're playing along at home. That's 15 million cars over 2 years. The expectation this year is 2.7 million. The first week of the year has us at 219,700 already. So it seems like the impact of the chip shortage is weakening, especially here in North America. There are only 24,000 vehicles taken out of production. It's still going to be a thing that we're talking about this year.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. We've got here, Dad, from Mark saying, what if day supply is being computed on projected sales for ones that don't make sense? Possibly. Maybe it's also being influenced by in-transit inventory, but it says on the document that sales data are it's
based on the daily sales rate from the previous month. Well, the daily sales rate for the previous month is going to be higher than it is in January.
It should.
No, not should.
I mean, from December,
I can assure you, having done it for 40 plus years, I can assure you, nobody's ever had a great January. Okay, nobody. Even when we were in Arizona, where winter months didn't impact sales to the same degree as they do in the Northeast. January and February were still the slowest months of the year.
No, I believe it. Also, February's short.
Well, and part of it was you had all that holiday shopping, all that money that was spent for the holidays. I mean, there just isn't enough money to go around so that people can go, we got to get a car in January. No,
trust me, I completely get it. Let's talk about some winners and losers from 2022. We have the complete data from last year, Dad.
Okay.
This sales leader again is Toyota. Top 10 brands, U.S. selling brands. Toyota won the sales championship once again. They sold 1.849 million vehicles, but that was down nearly 9% year over year. Ford right behind them, Chevrolet right behind them there, and you can see the rest on the list. Everyone's down. Honda down 33%, Nissan down 26%, Ram down 16%. Most popular pickup truck was the Ford F-Series. Not too much
Mhm.
of a surprise there. The Silverado, the Ram, the Sierra, and the Tacoma.
And the Ram pickup was down
If
18%.
you're over at Stellantis, you just got to be asking a lot of questions. If you're an
Well,
executive, at
and
Stellantis.
if you're a consumer and you need a pickup truck, and maybe Ram isn't your first choice, maybe it isn't even your second choice, but if you would be looking for a deal,
Yep.
I think you would have a greater likelihood of being able to get a more aggressive deal on a Ram pickup truck than
Definitely.
you would on a Ford or a Chevy or a GMC.
Yeah, unequivocally, yes. We've seen 15 to 20% below MSRP on Ram 1500s. I haven't seen that for an F-Series.
Yeah.
Dad EVs, Tesla's winning there. Ford right behind them. Hyundai right behind them.
Yeah, look at Hyundai.
Yeah, Hyundai's
They've made a commitment to really be in the EV game.
absolutely.
Now, some of their dealers prefer not to be in the EV game, and they've made a commitment to make those EVs as high priced as they possibly can. But
Muscle Cars pops, the
Yeah.
Challenger. Last year, the Challenger,
Yeah.
55,000 sold, more than the Mustang, more
Yeah.
than the Camaro.
you know that Camaro. You know what my first car was that I purchased myself?
What's that?
That was I think it was a 68 or 69 Chevrolet Camaro.
Really?
Yeah, a manual transmission, 3-speed on the column, on the tree.
3-speed. Wow.
Okay, and here's the funny part about it. I bought it from the gas station owner that we used, and I couldn't even drive a stick when I bought it.
Is that how you learned?
Well, they tried to teach me in driver ed in high school. It didn't really transition well to the car that I bought, but yeah, ultimately I did. And the way I taught myself is my girlfriend at the time was out with friends. They were somewhere in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
out north of Philadelphia, and I don't know, they got busted or something. And she called me and she said, "Can you come get me?" And it was like, I don't know, 60 miles from my house. And I only had one car to use, installing out and everything else. I still went up there to get her.
Look at you.
Yeah, well, I was a shifty gentleman at the time.
Top selling sedans from last year. Pops Toyota at the top of that list with the Camry and the Corolla. The Model 3,
Yes.
the third highest selling sedan in the United States. The Accord and the Altima. Look at Accord sales. Dad.
Yeah.
Down 24%.
Well, you can't sell what you don't have.
24%. That's
Yes,
incredible.
you can't sell what you don't have.
And look at that. The top selling minivan.
Yeah.
Chrysler Pacifica.
Yeah.
And we saw great deals, and especially
Yes.
the ones you couldn't get a deal on the Pacifica were the hybrid powertrains.
Yeah.
But there's a hybrid powertrain Pacifica that gets incredible gas mileage.
And
Yeah.
look at your Toyota and your Hondas down 35 and 38%.
Yeah.
Because you can't sell what you can't get.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a storyline there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Igor reminding us, and yeah, we've seen plenty of these stories. Ram 1500s are selling for 13% below MSRP, and then $4,500 in rebates. We've got a theory. You'll be hearing about it tomorrow on the YAA channel. Ram is going to be setting us back in time. Ram's
Back to the future, ladies and gentlemen.
Kimberly letting us know she just got off the phone with someone looking for a 7-passenger van. There's a need.
Yeah.
A friendly reminder, I just want to let everyone know back at joinyaa.com, we are here to help across the board, whether you're buying a car, selling a car, getting insurance, warranty, financing, refinancing. If you want to have a phone call with us to figure out how to buy that car, what car to buy, just head back to the website, joinyaa.com. We are 100% here on your side to help you go through that process. Now, Pops, you got to be kidding me. Should I turn my attention there?
Well, you're the director of the show.
You ready?
I suppose. Really? You gotta be kidding me.
All right, Dad. We've
Yeah.
talked ad nauseum about the EV tax credits and how confusing they can be. Now this.
Yes.
We talked about this a bit on the other show, but feds say
Yes.
Cadillac Lyriq is not an SUV and won't be discounted as such. If you remember,
Yes.
there are different tax credit limitations based on SUVs and sedans, and there's been some questionable decision making from the IRS.
Yeah.
Okay, they're the ones that are doing the qualifications for the
Yes.
Inflation Reduction tax credits. Cadillac's first EV doesn't satisfy the EPA's criteria for an SUV.
Well, what is that? It certainly looks like.
It looks like
It
an
looks like
SUV.
it looks like any other SUV that's out in the road today. It's definitely a hatchback.
That's an SUV. What do you mean a hatchback? It's an SUV.
No, I mean it's got a tailgate.
It's still,
That's
yeah,
what
it's
I
an
mean.
SUV.
It's got a
Yeah,
tailgate.
it's an SUV.
That's not a trunk lid. That's a tailgate.
It's an SUV. The Ford Mach-E, only certain trim levels are considered SUVs. The Tesla Model Y, if you get the 7-passenger configuration, that's an SUV. How is this not an SUV?
I've got
This is so confusing.
I've got a question for the end. How did it become so hard to figure out what an SUV is and what a sedan? I mean, when did it? I mean, I can help them.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, a sedan has 4 doors. Okay, and it has a hood and a roof line that comes down, and then a trunk.
Yeah,
a trunk.
A
lid.
trunk.
Okay, that's what makes it a sedan. It's got a hood and a trunk.
Yep.
Like an SUV or crossover type vehicle has that hood.
Yep.
And it has that roof line that goes all the way back to the tailgate. There is no trunk. There is no trunk. Okay, and it rides or sits higher than, I don't know what's that thing called, a van.
Yep.
That has a tailgate as well. But it's not that difficult. And
his hourly rate, folks, is like, what do you want to charge the federal government?
When I charge the federal government, I don't know, a couple $1,000s an hour.
It's $2,500 an hour, federal government. If you want his, what'd you do? You said it was this.
Yeah. I could stick figure it for you with a pencil and a piece of paper, because I can't really draw, but I could show you. It's not that hard. Why do we make this so hard?
It's got major implications. Let's be very clear.
I understand that, but
as you may already know, the new regime of EV tax credits stipulates that only passenger cars that cost less than $55,000 are eligible for discounts, while the cap is raised to $80,000 for SUVs, vans, and trucks. The Lyriq begins at $62,990, including destination, but because it isn't technically an SUV per the government's antiquated definition, it's too expensive to qualify.
Well, apparently there's somebody that needs to get paid off at the IRS to help them decide that is indeed an SUV. And apparently the good folks in Cadillac haven't been doing their due diligence of passing out the cash that needs to be passed out.
Stroke that check.
Yeah.
Cadillac. All right, Pops, let's talk about what's on your wrist, a new segment in our Ray and Zach Daily News You Can Use shows. What's on the wrist today, Dad?
Well, you're looking at it. It is a out of whack. Out of whack. Yes, I am out of whack. It's the Atturi automatic, and it is a highly unusual watch that I hardly ever wear because it's so friggin' highly unusual. And I want you to know I paid nowhere near $649 for it. I got it before it came out. I think it was on Kickstarter or one of those other ones, and it's the design. It's supposed to look like it doesn't look like anything much.
It ain't $649 worth of watch.
Yeah, but it's got an unusual way of telling the time, and so that's why I bought it, because it's really different than any other watch. But I hardly ever wear it because, well, it's really kind of ugly. But that's just between me and 1,000 or so people that might be watching.
Eddie, thank you for the contribution.
Yes.
We appreciate Zach and Ray. Love your content and videos. I'm interested in purchasing a 2022 Ram 1500 Laramie level B as a minimum. I don't want an EV too old school. Question is, should I wait? No, not 2022.
Well, I think if you're looking at a 2022, there's incentives, there's deals. So I wouldn't wait, because the longer you wait, the fewer 2022s are going to be.
Yeah, Eddie, we had a success story posted on the community forum. I was going to try and pull it up for you, but I mean, folks are literally getting like $10,000-$12,000 off on Ram.
Yes,
1500s to 2022. So please, definitely jump on that.
Somewhere between probably 15 and 20%.
Yeah, definitely jump on that, Eddie. And then Pops, let's get your take on this. Cliff Kingsbury out as head coach. What do you think, Pops? For those of you who follow the National Football
Well,
League,
I don't think they've announced that he's been fired.
Yeah,
yet,
but start a petition.
But they need to announce that he's been fired.
If you do not follow my dad on Twitter, you are missing out because he flames Arizona sports teams better than anyone else. So let's do the quick pitch. We are on Twitter. Both of us are on Twitter.
Yeah.
And look at that. It's Cardinals tweet. I am at Shefska.
Yeah.
That's me. And my dad is at Raz.
Is Jazz.
Raz is Jazz.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, you look at certain statistics and you say to yourself, how does this guy still have a job? Although there was he's got one of the highest winning percentages.
Look at this. Dad, they announced it on ESPN, fired 30 minutes ago.
Yes. Yes. You know what? And honestly, I think I might be able to do a better job. Breaking news. There it was.
Cards fire Kingsbury despite extension.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Well, very, very exciting news. Not that there's any hope, but because God, qualified coach, but that's besides the point. So, yes. And then I saw there was a question from Igor about one of
he was asking you what's the most expensive luxurious watch that you have.
I think the most expensive luxurious watch that I have is a Cartier Santos. And once again, I did not buy that. I won that from Acura in 2000 or 2001. And that's the one I have. And that's just a great watch. It's the most luxurious, most expensive watch that I own. And again, I guess the most expensive watch that I own was the Rolex that I gave to you that doesn't run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a nice gift though.
Yeah, maybe one day and that one I got from the Penske organization.
Yep.
Once again, and as one of my customers told me when they saw it, they said, "Oh, look, a nice starter Rolex."
That's always fun. Always
yes.
fun. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Happy Monday.
Indeed.
Feels like, last week was the first week into the new year, coming off the New Year's holiday. This week feels like a good week. We're getting the momentum back. We got a lot of good things going on behind the scenes here. Lots of great success stories back on the community forum as well. So let's get the momentum back. We're here to help.
We are.
Join us Monday through Friday. We're here. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Well, sorry for the snafu at the beginning with the audio and whatnot, but thanks for sticking with us. And here we go from Ashley. I hope you'll be cheering for Georgia tonight. Go Dogs with the college football national championship tonight. And Ashley, for your sake, I'll be rooting for Georgia. I know you're rooting for TCU. You like an underdog story.
I like the underdog story. Yes, I do.
Well, we'll be back tomorrow at what time?
Noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, with more news that you can use from YAA. Thanks, everybody, for being here today. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Oh, it looks like Steve Kime's out as well.
Yes, that's what I've read.
Hey, Michael Bidwell.
Yeah.
Hire him.